Chapter 17. The next morning, Rob was helping Willie Mae in the laundry room. They were folding sheets and chewing 8-ball gum. All night he had tossed and turned, scratching his legs and thinking about the tiger and what 16 said, that he had to be set free. He had finally decided to get Willie Mae's opinion. "You ever been to a zoo?" he asked her. "One time," said Willie Mae. She cracked her gum. "Went to that zoo over in Sorley? Oh, the place stunk." "Do you think them animals minded it being locked up?" "Wasn't nobody asking them, did they mind?" Willie Mae pulled another sheet out of the dryer and snapped it open. Rob tried again. "Do you think it's bad to keep animals locked up?" Willie Mae looked at him over the top of her glasses. She stared at him hard. Rob looked down at his feet. "When I was but little," said Willie Mae, "my daddy brought me a bird in a cage. It was a green parakeet bird. That bird was so small I could hold it right in the palm of my hand." She draped the sheet over one shoulder and held out a cupped hand to show Rob. It looked to him like a big hand big enough to hold the entire world. Held him in my hand, could feel his little heart beating. He'd look at me, cock his head this way and that. Called him Cricket on account of him all the time singing. "What happened to him?" Rob asked. Willie Mae bent and took a pillowcase out of the dryer. "I let him go," she said. "You let him go?" Rob repeated, his heart sinking inside of him like a stone. "Couldn't stand seeing him all locked up, so I let him go." She folded the pillowcase carefully. "And then what happened?" "Well, I got beat by my daddy. He said I didn't do that bird no favor. Said all I did was give some snake its supper." "So you never saw him again?" Rob asked. "Nuh-uh," said Willie Mae. "But sometimes he comes flying through my dreams, flitting about and singing." She shook her head and reached for the sheet on her shoulder. "Here," she said, "go on and grab hold of the other end. Help me fold this up." Rob took hold of the sheet, and as it bellowed out between them, a memory rose up before him. His father standing out in the yard, holding his gun up to the sky, taking aim at a bird. "Think I can hit it?" his father had said. "Think I can hit that itty-bitty bird?" "Robert," his mother said, "what do you want to shoot that bird for?" "What, to prove I can," said his father. There was a single crack, and the bird was suspended in midair, pinned for a moment to the sky with his father's bullet. Then it fell. "Oh, Robert," his mother said. It hurt the back of Rob's throat to think about that now, to think about the gun and his mother, and the small thud the bird made when it hit the ground. "I know something that's in a cage," said Rob, pushing the words past the tightness in his throat. Willie Mae nodded her head, but she wasn't listening. She was looking past Rob, past the white sheet and past the laundry room, past the Kentucky Star. "Who don't?" she said finally. "Who don't know something in a cage?" After that they folded the sheets in silence. Rob thought about the bird and how when he had finally found its small, still warm body, he started to cry. His father told him not to. "It ain't nothing to cry over," he said. "It's just a bird." Chapter 18. Rob was sweeping the cement walkway in front of the Kentucky Star rooms when Beauchamp pulled up in his red Jeep and honked the horn. "Hey there," he hollered. Beauchamp was a large man with orange hair and an orange beard and a permanent toothpick in the side of his mouth. The toothpick waggled as he talked, as if he was trying to make a point of its own. "We got you on the payroll now, too?" Beauchamp shouted. "No, sir," said Rob. "All right," hooted Beauchamp. He hopped out of the Jeep. "Got you working for free, that's what I like to hear." "Yes, sir," said Rob. "Ain't you supposed to be in school? Or you done graduated already?" The gold chains buried deep in Beauchamp's orange chest hair winked at Rob. "I'm sick," said Rob. "Sick and tired of school, right?" He slapped Rob on the back. "Don't got a mama putting down the rules for you, do you? Get to make your own rules. Not me," said Beauchamp. He jerked his head in the direction of the motel office where his mother Ida Bell worked, the front desk. He winked at Rob and then looked to the left, then right. "Look here," he said in a quieter voice. "I got me a number of deals going on right now. A few more than I can properly handle. I wonder if a smart boy like yourself wouldn't be looking for a way to pick up some extra spending money." He didn't wait for Rob to answer. "Let me tell you what I got cooking. You like animals?" Rob nodded. "Course you do," said Beauchamp, nodding with him. "What boy don't? You like wild animals?" Rob's heart skipped. He suddenly knew where Beauchamp was headed. "I got me a wild animal," said Beauchamp. "Got me a wild animal like you would not believe right here on my own property." and I got some plans for him. Big plans. But in the meantime, he needs some taking care of. You know, some daily maintenance. You following me, son?" "Yes, sir," said Rob. "All right," said Beauchamp. He slapped Rob right on the shoulder again. "Why don't you climb on into this Jeep and let me take you for a ride? Show you what I'm talking about." I'm supposed to be sweeping," said Rob. He held up the broom. "Says who?" said Beauchamp, suddenly angry. "Your daddy, he ain't the boss, I'm the boss. And if I say let's go, you say all right." "All right," said Rob. He looked over his shoulder, wishing fervently that Willie May or his father would appear to save him from Beauchamp, knowing at the same time that he could not be saved, that he was on his own. "Good," said Beauchamp. "Climb on up." Rob climbed into the passenger seat. There was a big brown grocery bag at his feet. "Go on, put that back," said Beauchamp as he swung into the driver's seat. The bag was heavy and it stunk. Rob carefully put it on the floor in the back and noticed his hands. There was blood on his fingers. "That's just from the meat," said Beauchamp. "It won't hurt you none." He cranked the engine. It roared to life, and they went tearing behind the Kentucky Star and into the woods. Beauchamp drove like he was crazy. He gunned for trees and then swerved away from them at the last minute, whooping and hollering the whole time. "You just ain't gonna believe what I gotta show you," Beauchamp hollered at him. "No, sir," said Rob weakly. "What?" Beauchamp shouted. "No, sir," Rob shouted back. I ain't gonna believe it." But he did believe it. He believed it with all of his heart.